All right, hello out there in cryptocurrency land. Real Crypto is officially back from a quasi vacation, so I apologize about the delay. If some of you didn't get the notice, I was out for a few days. Had a couple of intermittent videos, but overall was just kind of in and out. Hello everyone. See if I found this new fandangled pop-out chat technology. Pretty nice, huh? So I think I'll try to pop you guys over here. So just stay on top. No, this is going to be weird. Hello. Alright. Stellar right out the gate technical. Going for Stellar. I actually noticed a Stellar move. However, I did not know that I could buy it through Bittrex. I was looking at a different symbol and I was unable to buy it. So I missed out on I saw it was up like 8% when I saw it and I was interested and I tried to buy it and then Bittrex wouldn't let me do it. And then yeah, so missed out on that one. Okay, Stellar. Yeah, see Poloniex. I was looking at Stellar and it's only on Poloniex. It wouldn't give it to me on Bittrex. Let's go against Bitcoin. Ooh, looking interesting up here. Hello, everyone. Avenge Voltaire, Crypto Mining. Francesco, first there, buddy. Marco, how are you? JBLTF, woo. Yeah, XLM on Bittrex. Yeah, I found that out after it was up 120%. So, completely missed that one. I actually saw, I usually don't trade off of news, but I saw the news right here on the news feed. It was like 10 minutes ago when I saw it. I'm like, you know what, that could actually put a trade on. I could see how that would be useful information. So, pretty cool, pretty cool. Yeah, this looks really good. An entry point, you want to wait for some volume to come up. It has had a couple of spikes here. Obviously selling happening here, but it is still inching higher, still having higher lows. That is overall good action. Volume is decreasing. So as soon as volume increases, like if you notice here, volume is decreasing. I'm on the I'm on the 4 hour. Let me go to the 2 hour. Yeah, so here you see volume is decreasing, and then boom, you had a big spike up. Happened to have some selling in it. But yeah, so you want to see volume to increase again prior to the next move up. Otherwise, it's going to have you're going to have a lot of headwind, a lot of hard time going higher here. All right, Stellar with some partnership with IBM. Still, yeah, IBM's actually been using Stellar, so that's pretty cool. Salt. No particular, nothing particular at this moment in time. Is this a brand new ICO? Looks like it's a brand new ICO. Daddy likey brand new ICOs. The reason being is because when we pass a prior high, we could have what's called an ICO base. So I would put that high up here at the 67,000 level, and yeah, so over that 67,000 level is going to be really nice. But if you really want to get in on Salt for whatever reason, oh, that's why Salt sounds familiar. I actually almost participated in their ICO. I had 2 days left. Yeah, they're the ones they're doing lending or something, right? So I almost participated in that, but I declined. Probably happy that I did. I don't know what I would have ended up getting coins at. All right, ETH blowing my mind. Let's go check out some ETH. I'm on a new computer today, guys. It's nice and snappy. Look at this action. I can actually scroll with it looking like a normal computer. Isn't that nice? This is fantastic. I'm happy, and if I go to my task manager, which no one cares about, look at that. CPU not grinding to a halt, so I'm happy. All right. And look at this. I can scroll through my... Man, I'm super happy today. This is pretty cool. I'm super happy today. Not that you guys care about that, but I'm happy. Yeah, so ETH not sure was putting in a real recovery down here. So Ethereum came down and tested this level. Whether it's a real recovery or not, you can buy here, and a break of this 313 level probably would be a decent stopping point. But So you have these kind of two prior highs. This spike low came and tested it on some pretty decent volume. So I would say this is an okay place to get into Ethereum at this moment in time. Look at that, where my trend line is. It's just testing right at those two levels. So I would say feel okay to put positions on. The selling is probably over. It may not go right back up, but it will probably drift higher. But either way, on the downside, like I said, if it goes below this low, you can probably put your stop right at the bottom of that low, which is 315. So you put a stop there at 315 if you get really nervous buying lows like this, and you have a pretty good risk reward at that point because you're only down 2% at that point. A 2%, I mean, a 2% move is nothing. Literally nothing. Someone mining through your CPU. Yeah, it could be mining. I had MinerGate on there for a while, and I think it still persists on that other computer, so that could be a thing. I have noticed MinerGate. Back when I first got started in cryptos, I saw MinerGate and loaded it on a few computers, and that thing is just pervasive. That thing's just a virus. Neo, yeah, let's look at Neo. Interesting move up here. I almost bought this pop right here. I almost bought this pop right here. The volume wasn't great, but the move was pretty good. And then I missed out on most of this movement. So right now we're back right towards the upper range of this channel. You see this channel here. You know what? We can maybe almost even draw this in a little tighter. Maybe something like that. So we're in the upper range of this channel. While it could go higher, it can really move anywhere within this channel at any given time. This is some really good volume, however, in Neo. So if you get in here, you just have to have the expectancy that you could have some paper losses of up to, I'd say, 5 or 6%. Looks like this prior high could be a point of contention, or this high maybe. If it's true that ICO exchange ban in China may be over, Neo may shoot up to historic highs. Does VTC have a bright future? In terms of charts, I can give you some advice on VTC, but if you, I don't know in terms of its fundamental prospects here. See, look, I can actually move through charts here. This is awesome, guys. I'm liking this. Okay, so the charts don't look too bad. Charts look pretty good here. There's definitely an uptrend happening here. This doesn't like to persist moves, however. If you notice, each time it's spiked up, it consolidated, spiked up, it's consolidated. So this may be a similar move. This spike up was sold into, but we're still having, this is actually the first higher high I think we've had. Well, no, this was a higher high. And overall, it's looking good. Don't get me wrong, overall it's looking good, but trading-wise, it's going to be really difficult to trade this one. It just fades every move. It's hard to hold into. It's just hard to hold with Vertcoin. Yes, Bitcoin, and I can get up there quick now too. So yeah, Bitcoin. So I put out a couple of videos since this thing passed 5,000. Unfortunately, I missed that boat. I saw it was already up, I think 5,200 when I saw it. So that was interesting. And then it shot right up basically to 6,000. I was watching from across the room, just kind of like, wow, this thing's moving. Really nice, healthy consolidation up here. This is very nice action. This is great action. There's nothing bad with this. You know, you need to get over the fact that it's almost at, you know, $5,700. You need to get over the fact that I was still able to stream, so I'm not quite sure. Okay. Yeah, so get over all those mental blocks. Get over all those mental blocks about the Bitcoin price. Just trade the chart. That's all you can do as a trader, is trade the chart. You can look for some similar run that this had. So you see, we broke out right here, popped up. You can consider that this area. We broke out, we popped up, we consolidated, we moved higher, now we're consolidating. This is a much healthier consolidation than this was. So, but we still could get up here and then start chopping around, just because a lot of people put positions in here off of 5,000. That's a lot of money right there to be putting into Bitcoin at 5,000. It's a lot of money. So that's institutional money. And they're going to hold that for a long time, but they're going to start playing with you up here, trying to get your Bitcoins, trying to get you to sell out. So overall, it's looking higher, it's looking good. Until we see some toppy action, which we don't yet, we can just consider it bull on 100% from here. Actually, bull on 100% really from down here. Yeah, really looking at this chart in hindsight. Look at this volume increase right here. Look at that volume increase right into 5,000. Boom, or 6,000. That big, let's zoom in a little bit here. So right there, Bitcoin 6,000, 59.20, whatever you want to call it, 59.20? Yep, 59.20. Biggest volume, so that's going to indicate some kind of a topping action. And then now we're just volumes lightening up, consolidating, and hopefully we head higher from here in some nice volume. Hopefully this is a very good base up here, everyone. This is a very good base, and hopefully it breaks out of here with not much fanfare. And if it does, we're probably looking at 7,500 pretty soon. I mean, if this breaks out with fanfare, kind of like these moves did, that's crazy. All right, XRP completely failing. Well, let's get some perspective here. Let's get some perspective with XRP. So I understand that the very right side of the chart doesn't look very good. It does have these history of these spike lows down to this area for support. So you want to wait to see if this area is broken or not. So this area right here, just a little bit lower, looks like 23.27. If this area gets broken down, then it'll probably go lower. That being said, I'm on the 4-hour chart. So look at this large volume candle, okay? Usually you'll see a break at a top, which we have 2 here, and then usually the next large volume is the bottom, usually. Okay, it doesn't mean that we can't have a larger volume bottom, but if you look here, look at this large volume. This is kind of the bottom of this move, and then this large volume right here was the bottom of this move, and then this large volume was the top, and now maybe this large volume is the bottom, maybe, but you want to see if this level holds right here at the... Let me just, okay, the low there is 23.25, 23.32, 23.30. So 23.25 was your spike low down here. So you want to wait for that 23.25 level to be taken down before you really consider selling. Ian, you're welcome, buddy. So that's what's going on with Ripple. Ripple's had quite a pretty decent run here. Really a nice run. Popped up, came all the way back down to the breakout of the run, held it. I mean, there's not a lot of bearish action here. If you really look at it for what it is, some selling up here with the spike volume low indicating accumulation, the same low being held up on a spike volume indicating accumulation, the next bar being green with pretty good volume indicating accumulation. This bar here is a topping bar, and then this bar here hopefully is a bottoming bar. So I think if you were to like take it bar by bar and go point by point, we would still be in positive range for bulls. Also, you know, this could be a pretty decent little flag, even though it's a little choppy, it's a little wide. It could be a decent, a decent handle if you consider this a cup. This could be a pretty decent handle. So we have a fake out up here, and then we have a couple fake outs to the downside, and then yeah, maybe higher from here. So I see Litecoin here. Let's take a look at Litecoin. Litecoin coming down had these 2 gorgeous bases. This was really gorgeous in Litecoin. I actually did mention this when it happened. Unfortunately, I missed the pop. I don't know if I was asleep at the time. Yeah, just had this pop that I missed. I played this pop and got killed on this move. That kind of murdered that trade. And then up here, missed that. Yeah, I didn't touch Litecoin since I got stopped out of it. I really wasn't in the market trading at a good point for an entry. But again, much like we saw previously, this is coming back and testing this prior breakout level. So this is probably a decent level for entry if you're interested in Litecoin. I could say you put your stop at the bottom of this bar, which would give you a possible percentage of, 2.5% to the downside. That's not bad. I wouldn't mind doing that. 2.5% down, maybe it gets up here for a 14% positive. That's like a 7-to-1 risk reward, 6-to-1 risk reward. I mean, come on, you're welcome. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, so someone mentioned that I should say this is not financial advice. This is entertainment. That's why it's called the Extreme Stream. So yeah, apparently if I say that, apparently you can't sue me if you lose money off of something I say. Don't know if that's true or not, but anyway. Someone did mention Qtum, so good action. Actually, Frederick, which I don't see him in here, unfortunately. Frederick has been talking about Qtum quite a bit. He did mention this is a good pattern. This is a pretty good pattern, actually. Looks like it's kind of slowly moving out. I say slowly because it's just slow. It really is just slow. Let's dive down a little deeper. Let's go to the 15-minute because we're looking at just a few bars here. Okay, so yeah, it's the volume here isn't too bad. It's not, you know, really, you're not getting huge spikes, but you're getting a little bit of accumulation here. And it popped up quite nicely, kind of came up to this trend line, which I drew here, went above it. Now we're coming down, testing it. Volume's pretty light, so hopefully this test goes well and we proceed higher from here in QDM, hopefully. But, you know, let's go back to QDM. And if you've been with the channel for a little bit of time, you know that QDM has broken our hearts several times. Inverse head and shoulders, broke out of that, failed that breakout, had a symmetrical triangle happening, failed that, and ever since it failed the symmetrical triangle, I've pretty much forgotten about it. Just until these recent lows, really. Let me zoom out. There we go. Just until these recent lows, because if you look right here, we have a low here, we have a low here, and now we're kind of, we went beneath it, and I would like to see more volume down here. Let me zoom up here. I would like to see more volume down beneath this level. It is what it is, but we do have a nice spike low here. We do have a nice spike high going up. Volume's increasing to the upside. Hopefully this can keep momentum, and this could maybe be the low in QDM. Hopefully. That being said, most altcoins actually have kind of had a similar pattern where they've been sitting at lows. They've had a hard time breaking out, and then Neo really isn't quite that same case, but you know, it's been sitting at the lows of this move. But a lot of coins have had a hard time breaking out. We've been waiting ADA to break out of some kind of an ICO pattern. I don't think I've talked much about ADA. Recent ICO, pretty decent tech from what it seems. So they ICO'd up here. This is kind of my ICO break level at this moment in time right here. I actually have a small position on the break of this declining trend line. Went up pretty well, came down. I'm still holding it. It's a really small position. I don't see us getting much lower. My entry point's pretty good. So hopefully this curls up. My stop right now is at the low of this. Staying away from a bit. Been burned twice. Haha. Yeah, QDM's been pain in the butt. Omisego. Let's go look at Omisego. We haven't looked at that guy in a while. Good to see an old friend. Can you check volume spikes again on VTC weekly? Ooh, weekly chart. Someone calling for a weekly chart. You get a silver star. .com, how you doing? Yeah, so volume spikes on weekly. You know, weekly in cryptos are very strange. I mean, I like to trade weeklies in stocks. Speaking of which, the market's closing in 2 minutes. I like to trade weeklies in stocks, but weeklies in cryptos are just weird. I mean, there's just so much happening within a week. I think it's impossible to trade off the weekly at this moment in time. Maybe in a couple of years, but not right now. I know I'm heavy in the stock market and heavy in the crypto market. So let's get out of the weekly and let's go dive back into Omisego. Sorry, I got sidetracked when someone said weekly charts. Omisego. Look at that nice little shelf being put in, volume here. This is pretty. This is pretty in Omisego. Look at this. Low, low, low. All been held. I would like a little more volume, but we don't always get what we want. Let's see. So I actually trade options on breakout stocks or momentum stocks is what I trade. I do ETFs as well, but I've kind of set that strategy aside for my option strategy. But what I'll do is I'll basically trade triple exchange ETFs like the TQQQ or the TNA. Those are my two go-to, and I'll trade those with the market and sell them on tops, which we haven't had any tops. So, but no, this is looking really good in Omisego. This is a very nice flat bottom, very nice flat bottom. Volume increasing here. Maybe this is kind of a cup pattern right here. Maybe this will flag out, handle out and create a handle. But I think a buy right over this 825 level. What's this high here? High is 807. High is 824. So yeah, so over 825, 826 would be a really good buy point. But this is really good action right here in Omisego. I haven't looked at it in a few days, so I haven't noticed that. But yeah, that's really good action. XLM on Bittrex. Yeah, that's probably the one I can buy, right? Yeah. Very nice. This is a bull flag. A very nice declining volume. Look at this great sideways action. This was the clue. So here you go. Here you go. I don't know how many people are in my chat right now. 50 people. You're going to get a nice lesson here. You're going to get a nice lesson, you 50 that actually joined in. For those of you just in cryptos, you're not specifically used to actual market manipulation. You guys scream it, you guys talk about it, but you don't really get it yet. You're starting to see a little bit of it. In the stock market, you can see it like once you learn to spot it, you can see it like crazy. But in cryptos, not so much. So this unexpected action, this kind of a cup with a handle right here, this very tight action in lumens with volume increasing right here, pretty much out of nowhere. There was nothing happening in lumens. Now, keep in mind in cryptos, this action happens all the time. Okay, this action happens all the time in the stock market, but in cryptos not so much. But this volume action coming out of nowhere, this right there, based off that news that came out yesterday, tells me that this was accumulation from the people that knew that news was going to break. This is accumulation. This is essentially insider trading, which there's no illegal or legal inside of the crypto exchanges, right? It's just trading. So this is perfectly legal. But if you see action like this, keep an eye on it. And then when you see nice sideways action here, keep an eye on it. Yeah, so this action here was pretty orderly. The volume came down in some pretty good, pretty orderly volume, got quiet, then boom, it exploded. So anytime you see volume coming out of nowhere, you have to keep an eye on it. And this is just really good action preceding this uptrend right here. But what we're in right now is nice as well. This is kind of a bull flag, kind of symmetrical pattern happening here. Usually what I've seen with cryptos and stocks, this would tend to break out. In cryptos, these tend to get chopped around, I've noticed. So probably what's going to happen, here is it's going to chop around, it's going to fake down, and then if you get it faking down, then you can go ahead and maybe take a position. You have to have a stop order in place, and then it'll probably curl upward. I've seen that happen time and time again, where these large symmetrical bull flags fake out to the downside, then go up. I've seen that a lot. Guys getting some buffering? Is anyone else buffering? Isn't the same thing volume happening wise in VTC? Came out of nowhere. Let's check it out. Came out of nowhere. So I'm on the 2-hour chart here. So this volume kind of came out of nowhere here. Okay. So that volume kind of came out of nowhere, but it didn't follow through. You're interested in the volume. The volume piques your interest. You go, oh, look at that. It's kind of like a hot chick walking around, right? Hot chicks walk around, you're like, oh, look at that. But if she never looks at you, then you're probably never going to approach her. So you want to look for her to look at you first. I'm like, okay, cool. So you go ahead and then you look at it here, but it never breaks out, so you just forget about it. So this volume here, if you're talking about this volume, see, it's had quite a bit of volume this entire little run here, and even if you want to consider this, it doesn't really set up. So like this isn't, none of this is really good setups. You want to see good volume and then a good setup. Testing 1 2 3. Looks like my mic's working okay. Anyone else? If you guys are having problems, please shout it out in chat. So yeah, you really want to, so this is good volume spike, but this is kind of coming out of a base. This isn't really out of nowhere, but it's not really that bad. So, or not good. What about Dash? What about Dash? What about Dash? Dash is, so I think my last, you know what, I've recorded a couple of videos over when my family was in town. That's where I was at, guys, if you didn't know. I had family in town, and my kids were out of school, so it was kind of a mini quasi-working from home vacation. It was really hard to get any quiet time to do anything constructive, and any time I did, I was interrupted. Did record a few videos that never made it to light, but one of them I talked about Dash living below these trend lines. It did it over here. It's doing it again here. You really need to wait for Dash to cross this trend line, and then look, just boom, it goes. So Dash really doesn't do anything until it explodes. until it explodes. If you can somehow, so if you look at this previous breakout, it did have a little bit of tight action here, but I mean, you know, it doesn't look any different from anything else. But in hindsight, it looks pretty decent. This little higher low looks pretty decent. Then you have some good volume coming in right here. You see right here. Then it starts to work up. Then you get the big volume spikes. So sometimes it's the minutiae in the charts that can really kind of tell the picture, but you have to be looking at it. And this is a 24/7 market. It's really hard to exactly know when it's going to run. So your strategy is to kind of buy in wish, or you have to buy at the breakout level. ADX. So ADX had a nice spike up here. This pattern seemed to have worked out. So this is kind of a pattern. This worked out okay, and then just failed. So now here we kind of have a nice little low being put in here at this 80 cent, 82 cent level right here. Some okay volume, not really great, but okay volume in here. These can lead to better prices, but you need to wait for a level to be taken out at this moment in time. You know, I don't like to trade off this. It looked really good up here too, right? It looked pretty good right here, and then it just spiked up and faked you out and then just failed. So you need to wait for levels to be taken out. I mean, for a really, really good level, looks like the dollar level here in ADX is a level that is being sold into. Can you explain why people get Bitcoin Gold if you already own Bitcoin, and how? So that's actually a function of the Bitcoin fork. When the Bitcoin community decides to do a fork, the last one was Bitcoin Cash. This one's Bitcoin Gold. So how it works is they're going to fork essentially, and when that fork occurs, if you have Bitcoin in your Bitcoin wallet, it will register that Bitcoin, and it will give you Bitcoin Gold. That's how it's built in the program. It's built in the blockchain, right? So if you have Bitcoin in your wallet, then it will give you Bitcoin Gold. Now I'm sure how it's going to work is that when Bitcoin Gold comes out with their wallet, you put in your Bitcoin address, and then you may have to enter your private key. I actually haven't done any of these forks personally, and then it will give you your Bitcoin Gold. So I'm not sure what's happening with my OBS disconnecting and reconnecting. Doesn't look like my oh. I thought you wanted me to put them against each other. NEM. Gotcha. IOP. So yeah, here's a nice volume. So this is kind of what I'm talking about. You want to pay attention to things like this, these big volume spikes, right? But NEM has had these in the past that just nothing happens. NEM is actually kind of a crap coin, to be honest with you. It's really not meant to, it's meant to be a joke. If you actually read everything, it's meant to be a joke. So I would trade NEM. I would not be interested in NEM. I would just keep out of it, to be honest with you. Unless for some reason, I don't know, I can't see a real use case where this would be an investable coin. This is not a coin with an asset behind it. Like I said, this was meant to be a joke. There's millions of new coins. There's like 100 billion NEM or something crazy like that. So, all right, someone's mentioning BQX. I can't see that one, so I cannot do that one, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Let me look it up by the name Bitquints. Nope. Unfortunately, can't do that one. DMD, Canis, yes, we'll do that one for you, buddy. Looks like we're going lower here. Let's check it out. And this run may have been too much. Again, I think you mentioned this is going to be a long-term hold. What's up, Daniel? How you doing, buddy? So you can draw a couple of trend lines here. So here's a trend line. And you can take the last point. You can draw against that. There's a trend line there. So, you know, you're not too far from this trend line. It may bounce off this. See here, it kind of bounced off that level up here. So it can get down to one of these trend lines. You know, again, diamond isn't a crap coin. It's a currency. It's not going anywhere. It can be a little strange sometimes. As like I said, with the spike up here, I'm like, this thing doesn't spike up high. It just doesn't do that. The same thing. Excuse me. At the same time, it doesn't spike horribly low. So just give it time. Just give it time. XLM is popping off. Getting excited. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like XL. Oh, do you mean on the daily, Ian, up here? Sorry, I'm looking at your thing way up here. Enigma or Numera? I don't have Enigma. I'm assuming you mean Numeraire coin. Oh, some interesting action happening here. Let's go to the 2 hour. Which apparently has 2. So yeah, way down these lows, I'm not interested in this coin at all. Has some good volume down here. Maybe there's been a bottom put in here, but you could have said the same thing here. Could have said the same thing here. Yeah, if that's what you're looking at. We do sub. I don't see sub. And WTC, I don't. Oh, Walton coin. Yeah, you know, I can't get them on trading. If they can't get them on trading, you guys, I just don't really deal with them, to be honest with you. There's a lot of coins I can deal with, and I don't need to go hunting for charts. So sorry about that. If you guys can find a good place for me to get a good chart, that'd be great. What do you think of Ethereum, Bitcoin for a long swing trade, maybe a week or two? Ethereum, Bitcoin? That's an interesting pairing. Where is it? Bitcoin, Ethereum. I don't know if they can do. Okay, let me just do this. So also keep in mind, Daniel, if you're going to trade Ethereum or Bitcoin, you're literally not trading them against each other unless you're going to literally sell Bitcoin and buy Ethereum, or sell Ethereum and buy Bitcoin. They don't literally like trade against each other. I don't view it that way. So let's just look at the general charts here. I mean, overall, I think Bitcoin and Ethereum kind of, I mean, long term they're going up. Ethereum looks a little bit weaker here as of now, but like I said, they just came down. Earlier we talked about this spike low, how it had pretty good volume and how it was testing these prior highs. So this pullback is kind of healthy unless it gets below this level, and then you know, still could go higher over the long term. But yeah, it looks like it is kind of fading out of this move here. But I would buy Bitcoin over Ethereum at this moment in time. I mean, this is such a healthy Bitcoin chart. But again, the fork is upcoming, so keep that in mind, folks, unless you're willing to hold through the fork and are prepared for if something happens after the fork, then yeah. So ADX. All right, not looking too good here. Nothing crazy happening. Looks like there was kind of a bit of a bottom put in here, which is good. So you need to, again, wait for a level to be taken out, a trend line of some kind before you get in. A little bit of volume coming in here, but not much. Nothing really to write home about. Someone mentioned Lisk, finally. I was waiting for that. No real great trend line here to discern. Maybe if we zoom out and kind of take a bit of a broader perspective. Looks like there's a trend line up here. But so far we've lived way beneath this trend line. Do you have IOTA? Nope. I do not have IOTA. Way too weak for me to own. So yeah, right here. Yeah, it's still living beneath this trend line here. It needs to break out of some levels. It's just consolidating. That's all it's doing. What do you think is the better coin to buy for the next couple of weeks, Ripple or Lumens? You know, Julian, you're kind of chasing there in both instances. Ripple's had a run, Lumens has had a run, and weeks is tough, man. Doing weeks in cryptos, that is tough. I mean, that is a very, very difficult one. Lumens ran due to news, due to some good. All right, guys, I'm back. My OBS connected, disconnected, reconnected again. So I'll have to deal with that a little bit. Let's look at Lisk. Someone mentioned Lisk. Nope. No Lisk. Bittrex closing accounts. What accounts are they closing? What's that about? They put a statement out on Twitter. What would the statement read? Yeah, I'm not familiar with this because I actually have all my money in Bittrex. That's not, I consolidated my trading account there. American and have all the paperwork with them registered, so you should be unaffected. Hopefully. I'll check that out. Yeah, I'll go there and double check that. Thanks, guys. But yeah, I think I got everything. I've got to do factor authentication. I think I've got most of that stuff working out. Pivx. Let's look at Pivx. Pivx. Not much to write home about here on Pivx. Even on the daily, we kind of have a cup here with kind of a handle, but nothing crazy. Nothing crazy going on here. You know, it looks like it's slowly drifting higher. This is definitely a holder's market. This is not a trader's. This isn't where traders live. This is where holders live. So you're not super interested in it. I'd be interested in this chart. I mean, this is a different ball game right here. This is a nice chart. This is some good action, some good sideways action, then a nice breakout, and then everything just goes to hell. I mean, just choppiness. Although, man, that's 23%. Are you kidding me? Wow. 23% choppiness. Maybe I'll trade this and just trade the chops, 10%. I'll take a 10% chop trade. Why not? Frederick, how you doing, buddy? Just saw you pop in. And Julian's talking about 10x. Let's talk about 10x a little bit. Boo. I don't like that at all. Yeah, so 10x had this nice pop here. I think this was the pop. I'm on the daily again, by the way. Doing good, Frederick. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, saw your message this morning. Sorry, I was pretty busy at work today. Just off from vacation. Had some things to do. Yeah, so 10x had a nice bump, and then it started slowly failing. So we're kind of back down here towards the lows. Looks like it's just going to want to chop for some time. A good entry point. Personally, I don't think that can be discerned at this moment in time. We don't even really have a valid trend line. I mean, it's just really sitting in no man's land. Let's just get rid of this one and move it lower. So there's kind of a valid trend line right there. So maybe it'll come to a head by November. We'll see. No, not much going on. You know, it's hard to say that there's going to be where an entry point is here. It's not doing anything to give you an entry point. Golem. No one's really asked me about Golem that much. It kind of has been forgotten about because it's been forgotten about. Yeah, it's sitting here down in the dumps here doing a whole lot of nothing. It's gonna chop. It's gonna chop until it doesn't. Yeah, it's just gonna. What is 22? What's the high of this bar? $2,200. It's at 21 cents right now. There's a misprint if I've ever seen one. Yeah, so here again, kind of the same thing. It's just sitting at lows, not doing anything. Really hard to do anything here. Just really hard. So Vertcoin. I know Frederick's gonna give me crap because of Vertcoin. Yeah, we discussed Stellar Lumens, Frederick. It's just consolidating right now after a nice big run up. It has kind of a symmetrical triangle bull flag type of a pattern, which I've seen those fake out of quite a bit to the downside. So if it fakes out to the downside, don't lose it. Keep an eye on it because it could reverse. All right. So yeah, Vertcoin not doing too bad here, but looks like if you had a breakout, it was down here at the 151 level. Looks like it kind of tested that level. But again, this is another really choppy coin. It's really hard to trade something this choppy for me. Komodo. All right, we'll do Bitcoin. Ooh, why am I looking at Komodo again? This is ugly. I'm allergic to this. So the only good thing I will say about Komodo here, if this is what you're talking about, if it is, good job. It looks like its downward momentum has stalled. Right there. So we have kind of a three little bottom scenario. That's not really any kind of a pattern. I guess you can call it a triple bottom. There's double bottoms, triple bottoms, quadruple bottoms. So it could have another bottom, but it looks like it's broken this downtrend here. So it is possible that it is bottomed. Doesn't mean it's going to go up, but it means it could be just done going down. And if we zoom out, it does appear that this bottom coincides with this whole level right here. So yeah, it looks like it could be done going down, hopefully. Okay, there we go. It looks like we could be done going down, hopefully. But it's just really hard to know when it's going to pop back up for another 100%, right? So even that's 100% to these highs. So I guess if you wanted to buy here and then have a sell point like down here at the 254 level, 254 level, then yeah, you make a run for 100% in this thing maybe, but it could take a number of weeks for this to play out. I mean, look at how long this thing went sideways for. Vlad, how you doing? ETP. Don't know if I've seen ETP before. And someone should... Oh, I've seen VTP. I drew a trend line here. Oh, I think I saw it up here. I just lost track of it. So Ahmed mentioned, what's the next big surge? I got screwed on Monocoin. Yeah, when you trade... Not bad. Yeah, nice little pop-up. Nice pop-up here. The last pop-up didn't go so well. Fortunately, it kind of held its low here, and so maybe this pop-up will work out. Kind of hard to tell. Maybe Bitcoin Cash is popping on the Bitcoin fork. I don't know. It has nothing to do with the Bitcoin fork, so. Yeah, you know what? Personally, I'm staying away from Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum Classic, all those old fork coins. I'm just staying away from them. There's no use case behind them. This kind of just has a bigger general downtrend at play here. I don't see a huge use case for this coin, and apparently neither does a lot of people. Back to the, let's go back and look at Monocoin, because he brings up a very valid point. When you're trading in something that has, so Monocoin was down here and had a 100% run, okay, and then it consolidated. So this is a very nice consolidation in Monocoin. I just want to walk you guys through this trade real quick. General trading right here, everyone. Okay, so Monocoin had this huge run up here, 100%. Really, in like one, almost, half of it here was in one bar. Then it had a very nice consolidation, and then started to curl back up again. These coins only have 1 to 2, maybe 3 good runs. This coin actually had 3 good runs in it, but I haven't seen really many more than 3 really good runs. You don't ever want to buy past this second run. You want to buy off of this first run. You want to buy maybe up here as it pops over. But then when it has this big volume spike, these big volume spikes are really your clue that it's going to fail at the highs. That's your clue to get out. Do I think Omisigo, Neo, and Qtum are finally turning around? Neo, probably. Qtum, maybe. Omisigo, maybe. So all 3 of those coins, Omisigo and Qtum have been beaten down. Qtum is at a low, coming out of that low. Hopefully that holds. Omisigo kind of the same. And then we know Neo's been in a larger consolidation with good volume, so that's good. Bat team released nice Brave browser, nice Silicon Mozilla version. Okay. Thoughts on Ripple for 17th, 18th? So yeah, Ripple spiked below these lows here, so that's not good. Means it could be going lower. So I would actually, if you did get in the trade earlier, I said maybe here you take a trade, you'd be out of it by now. Okay, you should be managing that trade. But these spike lows do tend to get bought up, though. You've seen it time and time again. These spike lows get bought up. But it looks like Ripple is failing this move right now. Looks like Ripple's failing that move. So yeah, I wouldn't be in Ripple. I would, if you have a hard time playing these runners, you just need to watch and look for behaviors and look for percentages and look for things to happen over and over again so you can kind of develop a plan. The semi-life 100% Ripple portfolio. Moment of silence, everyone. Yeah, so that's kind of the hard part about being all in on something. If you're going to do that, you need to watch it like a hawk. You need to understand what you're doing. You don't ever just hold everything in one thing unless you really, really know what you're doing. Yeah, so you got to really know. You have to pay attention. If you're going to be 100% in Ripple, look, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, but you know what? You're 100% in off this breakout. This would be a good place to go all in on Ripple for a little bit. And you don't go in on it for a while. You go up and you take 50% profit when it pulls back, and then if it goes up again, you take another 25% profit, and then maybe you hold. But when it's up high in this consolidation, you have big whips like this. You want to wait for it to break out, and if it breaks out right here, like this did, this broke out and came all the way back in. You have to be ready to sell and take that loss. You have to be ready to sell and take that loss. Taking losses is a good thing if they're small. And you can't let small losses turn into big losses. That is a huge trading no-no. You will learn the hard way if you don't want to learn the easy way. ADA ready to run, I hope, but probably not. So volume here, look, very benign volume, very benign volume. Want to wait for some volume to come in. If it curls up, maybe it flags and goes sideways a little bit, then wait for it to pop up. But yeah, not really ready to run yet. But it does have a little low here, so we have 3 higher lows at this point. There's a low, there's a higher low, there's a higher low, so that's good. That's good in ADA. But I don't know if it's ready to run. It's not ready to run. Could go sideways for quite some time. Who knows? Hard to tell, but right now it's not ready to go. But yeah, so you guys need to look. You need to learn to look at the patterns. You need to learn to be patient with your entries. All right, got some good info there from Ahmed. Let's check it out. Let's go back to Ripple. Know until when you need to hold for the Bitcoin fork. Yeah, I'm not sure, Vlad, on that one. I'm not sure. Okay, Ripple is down to 4,043. I bought it. So you bought it 43. Let me go to Bitcoin. Alright, I like Bitfinex for some reason. Where's my XRP? I'll type XRP and it doesn't give it to me. Okay, fine, we'll do that one. Alright, so you were at 43. So you're down about almost 10% now. Okay, so 43 is here. Yeah, about 6%. 6% is not a horrible loss to take. It is at a prior low here, at least on this particular chart, if you're trading off of this chart. Okay, give me auto. There we go. That looks a little better. So yeah, maybe give it a little bit of space here. Maybe it needs to break this low on some pretty decent volume. So let's look here. So that wasn't even the low. Okay, that's the low. That's the breakdown. So in this situation, I'm not sure if you bought over here or if you bought over here. What you need to do is wait for levels to break before you buy. It's like there was a level right here. So maybe you bought off of that potential fake out right there, and then it failed. Yeah, it's tough. So here's another thing. You don't want to trade off of events. You don't want to trade off of conferences. You don't want to trade based off of things that everybody knows about. If everyone knows about it, why would they buy it? If you know of a conference that's going to happen in 3 weeks like Ripple announced, why would it go up after the conference? No one is going to wait till after the conference for things to go up. They're going to buy it as soon as they have a market advantage. Okay? They're going to buy it as soon as they have a market advantage. It's more likely to sell off into events like this because professional buyers will have already bought and they will be selling into the retail traders such as you guys, and they will sell into you, and then you'll just be left holding the bag. So you don't want to trade off of news events like that. We talk a lot about not trading news. Yeah, and so Ahmed, that's what he says is he doesn't want to buy now because it could just shoot right back up like it did with Monocoin on him. That's really where you have to have good entries. You can't just randomly pick a point to buy, okay, just because you see it then and it looks good for an arbitrary reason. The chart has to tell you, hey, this is a good trade. Okay? It has to tell you it's a good trade. You can't look at the market and just go, oh, I'm going to trade this because I'm here now and I see it. A lot of the good trades go when you're not there. We talked about that in Bitcoin earlier. This trade went when I was asleep. Off this breakout right here off of 5,000. If this was live, I'd be buying the crap out of this right here. I'd be buying the crap out of this, but up here in this consolidation, I'm not necessarily going to buy in this consolidation. I'm going to buy on the breakout of this consolidation. Okay? You're going to buy on the breakout of this. You're not going to buy at just some arbitrary point. I would buy up out of this base maybe to like the 52, 53 level because a pullback to 5,000 isn't too much of a big deal. It didn't happen to do that. But, you don't buy up here at 5,800. It's just so far out from the prior breakout level that it's bound to base. I mean, let's just go back here. Let's look at, you can count on your hand how many times this thing has run precipitously higher from an area of non-base, of a not base. So, like, here's a base. It ran up quite a bit here, okay? But you don't want to buy up here, okay? You want to buy down here. Where's another, like here's a level. So it popped up here and then ran. You don't want to buy all the way up here. There's very if you take this run up here, here's the last prior base. So maybe it goes up, and then you want to buy up here. This is probably one of the few times you could have made some money on an actual run up. So Yeah, so if you've got a big position of Ripple like what you're talking about, Ahmed. Okay, so I mean you're on the verge of selling. I would give it, I mean, so keep in mind too, if you want to hold this for probably 3 to 6 months, you'll probably be in the green and probably have double your money. Okay, that's one way of looking at it. If you're willing to do that, then you don't worry about it. Close your computer and go on vacation. Okay, but depending on how you trade, you know, you could give it to this level, you could give it to this level all the way down here before you maybe sell it. If you're really nervous, just sell it. Okay, you can do that. That's a thing, and you know it may shoot right up against you. Okay, 6% loss isn't an account killer. 6% loss is not an account killer. Okay, it may feel bad to you. It may feel bad, but your account doesn't care how you feel. Your account cares how much money is in it. So, you know, you also, as part of your trading plan, you have to have a maximum stop loss. Like, okay, no matter what the market looks like, no matter what it does after I sell, if it's down 6% or 7% or 8%, I'm going to sell. Okay, you have to have a maximum stop loss as well as be ready to sell before it hits that maximum stop loss. But the main point is to buy at a really good entry point. Okay, so let's look at Ripple. I'll look at Syscoin in a minute. This is a good place to buy out of Ripple right here. This is a good base. Okay, this is a really good base. You buy as it comes up. Maybe you get shaken out as it drops down below here, but you have a reasonable stop loss point, and you go ahead and you go ahead and you take your loss. But you don't buy down here, you know, unless you have a specific trade or something you're looking for. But anyway, now, okay, Frederick mentioned Syscoin. Let's look at Syscoin. Yeah, see, that's already spiked up. I would be hesitant buying that up here. I would not be buying this at this moment in time. Yeah, this is where you buy and they possibly shake you out. So it looks interesting, though. It looks interesting. You want to see consolidation, kind of like we're seeing with lumens. You want to see consolidation, then you buy off that consolidation. You never buy on the first pop, you know. So if you were looking at this would be your first pop. Then maybe when it comes back, maybe you buy at this point right here. I'm not too mad at buying right there, but you're already up like 10%. Yeah, 9.24%. You're already up 10%. I wouldn't be taking that trade up 10% up from the breakout point. Navcoin. Nope. Clam. Do they have a meeting scheduled? What do I think about the chart? I think it's going much lower. Yeah, this is called a I don't even have a funny name for this. I was trying to come up with a funny name. Like this looks like a boot. This is the boot. This is the boot. Holy crap, no thank you. MCO, Bitcoin possible cup with handle. I don't know if I'd call it, it's not really a cup with a handle, but it is an interesting pattern. You do have a nice pop and you do have a nice flag scenario happening here, so that's good. You could buy, you know, off of a break signal. So here was another nice little flag, didn't work out, which is why you wait for the breakout. This didn't work out. Maybe this works out, maybe this doesn't, but you wait for the breakout. Now is the time to accumulate long-term alts. You know, Jamie, if you want to accumulate long-term alts, I won't be mad at you for that. I will not be mad at you. I mean, the market feels like it doesn't want to go lower. It also doesn't want to run. So, and also with a lot of institutional money coming into play, you're going to have some symbiotic altcoin movements and stuff like that. So, do we need this room? Okay. But yeah, so I'm not mad at you for that either. Fine, Frederick. I'll pick Bitcoin. I'll pick Bitcoin. MCO Bitcoin. Yeah, it does look a little different. Does look a little different. One thing about a cup with handles, though, technically they don't work like this. They don't work at lows. They're a continuation pattern. So technically you would want to see this after a pop up, not a move down like this. But yeah, if you want to call it a cup with handle, it definitely is some kind of a cup with handle. And then yeah, I don't mind a buy off of like this 17 level. I mean, that looks pretty good technically, no matter what you call this pattern. It looks pretty good. You're welcome, Jamie. And next time you're going to pump Bitcoin down, let me know when you guys are buying so I can find the bottom too, okay? Thank you. You're welcome. So someone's talking about nervousness in Bitcoin fork. You guys... All right, guys, I got to get out of here. It looks like I'm overstaying my welcome in this conference room. So, yeah, there you go. Real Crypto out. Extreme stream is done, guys. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for putting up with me today. And I'll work on my OBS settings, so hopefully we don't have any buffering next time. Have a good one, and I will see you in the video later tonight.